So if you've ever shared your home with a cat, you are probably intimately familiar with the stereotype, right? The idea that cats are aloof, they're fiercely independent, and honestly, at their absolute best, they just kind of tolerate your presence while demanding breakfast. I mean, we've all seen the memes about the uncaring cat roommate who would gladly trade you for a fresh can of tuna without a second thought. But what if we've been getting it completely wrong this entire time?
Seriously, are cats actually ignoring us? We automatically assume they are, mostly because, well, they aren't acting like dogs. But what if we've completely misunderstood feline language? What if, instead of ignoring you, your cat has actually been watching over you this whole time, and you just didn't know how to translate what they were doing? Today, we're going to break down what the science actually says about feline behavior, and I promise you, it is going to completely flip how you view your furry little roommate.
See, we typically view their behavior as aloof, independent, or sometimes straight up rude. But the scientific reality? It tells a totally different story. It reveals a creature that is actually incredibly protective, highly watchful, and deeply bonded to you. They are highly instinctual animals, and they are fiercely loyal protectors. You just have to know what to look for.
Let's start with Section 1, Blinking and Trust, specifically the slow blink.
You've definitely witnessed this 1,000 times while just sitting on your couch, right? You probably assumed your cat is just sleepy or completely bored by you. But then they do this distinct three-step sequence. Step 1, they slowly close their eyes. Step 2, they hold them closed for a beat. And Step 3, they slowly open them back up. The biological mechanics behind this are actually fascinating. Researchers who study feline communication have found this is absolutely not boredom. It is the ultimate signal of trust and safety. I mean, think about it from an evolutionary standpoint. Predators do not close their eyes around threats. No way. By making themselves briefly, physically vulnerable in your presence, your cat is telling you, whether consciously or unconsciously, that you are safe. It's basically an act of mutual disarmament. When they do this, they're extending a blanket of safety over your shared space. You relax, they relax, and the whole room just kind of takes a deep breath.
Moving on to Section 2, Guarding the Perimeter, the Threshold Guard.
Have you ever wondered why your cat absolutely insists on sitting right by the front door or blocking the bedroom entrance while you're trying to sleep? We usually just assume they're being nosy, but they aren't just curious. Cats are crepuscular hunters. This means their wild instincts dictate that they are the most alert and most active at dawn and dusk. Because in the wild, those are the exact hours when major predators are on the prowl. So the really crucial takeaway here is that when your cat positions itself at a threshold in your home, they are acting on ancient instincts. They are a small animal living in a modern house that their biology still kind of believes is the wild savanna. They're actively monitoring who's coming in, what new smells have popped up, and, most importantly, what sounds don't belong. Now, you might know your house is perfectly safe, but your cat, they don't. They are literally guarding the gates.
And you know, this perimeter guarding actually explains the 3 a.m. stare. We have all experienced this terrifying scenario. You wake up in the pitch black. You look over at the foot of your bed, and your cat is just sitting there, completely frozen, staring blankly at an empty wall. It feels like you're starring in a horror movie, but it's actually deeply, deeply protective.
The reason for this haunted 3 a.m. vigil is all in this number right here, 79,000. While human hearing tops out at about 20,000 hertz, cats, they can hear up to 79,000 hertz. Plus, they can detect tiny micro-vibrations right through the pads of their paws that we could never, ever feel. So when they're staring at that supposedly blank wall, they aren't seeing ghosts. They are tracking something very real that you are completely oblivious to. It could be a microscopic shift in air pressure, a faint sound deep inside the drywall, or even a mouse moving 3 rooms away. They are on high alert, totally actively paying attention to the environment, specifically so that you don't have to be.
Let's look at Section 3, Scenting the Family, the leg weave.
Okay, so when your cat does that repetitive figure-8 maneuver weaving right through your ankles, which, let's be honest, we usually just affectionately call a tripping hazard, it's actually incredibly deliberate. Cats have specific scent glands located on their cheeks, their forehead, and right at the base of their tail. When they weave through your legs and aggressively rub those specific spots against your shins, it's a highly organized scent ritual. They aren't just begging for food, they are socially marking you. And notice I said socially, not possessively. They are doing exactly what cats in wild colonies do for members they consider to be true family. They're depositing their chemical signals onto your clothes and skin, basically saying, hey, this person smells like us. This person belongs here. They are actively vouching for you. That way, if any other animal comes along and reads those chemical signals, they know for sure that you are protected by the colony.
Which brings us to Section 4,
Sensing your sickness, the illness vigil.
Have you ever noticed what happens when you get really, truly sick? I mean, the kind of sick where you have a terrible fever, you can barely get out of bed, and you've just drawn all the curtains. If your cat was right there, pressed tightly against you and being unusually still, I can assure you that was no coincidence. Science entirely backs this up. Studies on animal behavior confirm that cats are incredibly sensitive to human biology. They can actually detect subtle chemical shifts in human scent that are caused by illness. They easily feel body temperature changes, and they closely monitor your breathing patterns. In fact, some cats have actually been medically documented detecting human seizures before they even happen. Others are known to stay incredibly close to palliative patients during their final hours. Your cat obviously has no concept of medicine or germs or what a diagnosis is, but their senses tell them that something is fundamentally wrong with their human. And despite their reputation for being totally selfish, their raw instinct is to stay close and hold a vigil for you.
And finally, Section 5, Love Without Words, Our Silent Sentinels.
When we take all of this science, the slow blinks, the crepuscular guarding, the scent marking, and those illness vigils, it really culminates in a beautiful realization about our relationship with these animals. There's a very particular, almost poignant kind of loneliness in being protected by a creature that can never actually say to you, "I'm protecting you." As the quote goes, they don't have the words, but they've never needed them. Your cat is never going to speak up and say, "Don't worry, I've got your back." Instead, they translate their love entirely through action. That warm, heavy weight pressed against your leg when you're running a fever at 2 in the morning, that is love. Sitting quietly by the front door while you sleep, that is love. Making themselves vulnerable with a slow, deliberate blink across a quiet room, that is love. Perfectly communicated with absolutely no vocabulary required.
So, I want to leave you with this question to ponder. How is your silent sentinel protecting you today? The next time your cat trips you up in the kitchen, or stares blankly at a wall in the middle of the night, or just lazily blinks at you from the sofa, I really hope you'll look a little closer. They aren't ignoring you. They are watching over you.